All the guns you'll be seeing today are available on solware.co.uk, based in Tamworth. Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome. We have today the Air Arms S10 Ultimate Sporter in the carbine with the laminate stock. We're going to put it through its test and review. How this will work. In the test part of this, down the range there, 23 metres away, we have two targets at the moment. The one's got 5 small targets on. If you hit the red on those 5 small targets, you get 10 points each. That's 50 points on the first card. On the second card, it's just a straight normal target card. You need to get 5 shots inside the 10 to get yourself another 50 points. Then I'll swap over to card 3. Card 3 is called the rings. You've got 4 big rings on the top, and they're worth 5 points each, and then you've got a really small ring, and that's our bonus shot, and that's worth 15 points. All in all, the maximum you can score is 135. Through this test we say anything over 110 is okay, but obviously the more close you get to 120 and above is very good. Now after that we'll put the gun through the chronograph and we'll test it for what its capabilities are as regards its power, and then I'll give you a review on the gun and what I think about it myself. Okay then, let's get going. Let's see how this works out. Okay then, here we go. Our first shot, card 1. Is 10. Past card 1 with relative ease. Card 2. And the last one now. Well, 100% off those 2 cards. I'll swap over to card 3 and let's see whether he can keep his 100% record up. Okay, there's 2 sets of rings down there on our card. Will be in the red rings. I'm just going to change the magazine because they're 10 shot mags and we've used 10 shots up in those first 2 cards. So here we go. The rings. Let's have a see how he does with this one. Shot 1's okay. Shot 2's good. Shot 3's good. Shot 4 is good. Now for the 135. Ladies and gentlemen, the Air Arms S510 Ultimate Sporter with a 135 on its test, and I've got to admit that was probably the easiest 135 in test I've ever done. The gun makes it so easy, to be fair. I mean, I'm not that excellent of a shooter, I'll be quite honest. I've never confessed to be a brilliant shooter, but this gun makes everything so easy. 135 there. Now let's go and see how much power it can put out over our chronograph. Okay then, it's 5 shots over our chronograph. Here we go. Shot 1. 225. Shot 2. 223. Shot 3. 222. Shot 4. 223. and our final shot 225. So in the middle of those is around 223, and that's what we'll take as its score reading, and we'll put it through the ballistics calculator now. And if you stay with me, I'll just move that out of the way so I can get at the computer. Right then, first of all we need to compute that from 223 metres per second, and that gives us 731.6 feet. So 731.6, and we need to put the weight of the pellet in, which in this case is the JTS dead centres. They're 8.7 grains, and then we need to calculate. Well, it's not come out massively powerful, it's come out as 10.34, which is acceptable. It's above 10, but you would have liked to have seen around the 11 foot-pound mark. But even though it's 10.34 and the energy expressed in joules is 14.02 in joules, that's okay for me. That's powerful enough to do what I would want to do with it, and the main part is it's accurate, as we've known in tests. So I've always said this, would you sort of give way to a bit of accuracy for a little bit more power? I don't think I would. I think I'd rather keep the accuracy. Anyway, that's its power. Now let's move over to its review. Well, this gun has done amazingly well today. The only thing that you'd probably knock it on a little bit is probably its power being 10.34 on test, but I can let that go for accuracy. I really don't mind. I'd rather it be sort of like mid 10 foot-pound. I mean, if I put an heavier pellet with this, it would probably be over 10.5 foot-pounds. But I can give way to that, as I say, due to the fact is this gun is massively accurate. Scored a 135 on test, which you can't knock it for in any way. Yeah, a bit low on power, but it's acceptable to me. Anything above 10 foot-pounds okay to me, to be fair. I wouldn't really knock it. If I did want it changing, I'm sure if I dropped it off to my old mate Aidan down there at Solware, he'd tune it up for me to be a bit more powerful, but I'm not really that fussed. I'd rather keep the accuracy as it is and not mess with it in any way or form. As you could also see over the chronograph there, although this gun is not regulated, it's not the S510R which is regulated, this is the non-regulated version, but it's still pretty close on its metres per second score. The maximum wavering there, I would say, was about 6 foot-pound. 6 feet per second is the the sort of wavering in those 5 shots, which is nothing really. Okay, well, let's go on to the other things about the gun. The gun, look at that stock, stands out, absolutely lovely. I've heard a few people complain about these, saying that like the stocks have got imperfections on them. I've kind of given this a really good look over, and I can't see any imperfections at all on this. Maybe I've just been lucky, I don't know. The only thing I can see, and I think it's actually part of the gun where they put it on the bottom shroud bit there, because obviously like the air arms is emblazoned into the bottom here, and there's a slight bit of fade in the wood there at the bottom, but I don't think that's anything to do with an imperfection. I just think that's how the wood is, to be fair, but that's me being a slight bit picky. But besides that, I've seen no imperfections at all. It looks absolutely stunning. Now, I've mated this gun up with a Hawk scope. No real rhyme or reason to that. It was just that was the scope that was available on the day I bought it, and I just took the scope that was available there. Adjustments wise, I don't know if you can see, I may have to turn the gun around. Inside these 2 slits here is 2 small grub screws, which you can loosen up, and you can move the cheek piece there backwards, forwards, or a little bit angled if you want to. Obviously, if you want to lift up the cheek piece or drop it down any, there's another grub screw there, and it's attached, and you can move that up and down to suit your personal preference, of course. Now, one thing I will say about the gun, I'm not a fantastic shooter, I will be honest with you. I've got nerve damage in my back, and I get twinges, and I move quite a lot sometimes, like you get spasms, it's just how it is. But this gun seems to put you at ease because it's that accuracy, and you know it's going to be there for you every time. It just seems to put you a little bit more at ease. You're not that little bit scared to press the trigger in case you have a flyaway, because this doesn't do that. You know if you press that trigger, this is going to go where you're pointing it at every time. It's that reliable, it's untrue. The silencer on this gun is tuned to this gun in 177, and it absolutely works a treat. It really is whisper quiet. I don't know if you've heard it on the video when I was shooting earlier, but it is really, really whisper quiet, and you can tell the thought that's gone into the gun. Shots wise, this is 177. They tell me you'll get about 90 shots out of 177. If you have the 2.2 version, this you'll probably get around 120. So again, not bad. There's a day's shooting there, of course. The cocking arm on this is absolutely smooth. Where you get some cocking arms that you have to bring right the way back and to hear the click of the pellet drop into its chamber, this one is about 3/4 of the way, and you hear it clicking quite easily, and there's plenty of play, and you can feel the pushback, and it's just lovely made. You can tell the quality in the gun. It just feels ever so nice. You've got a couple of ways you can shoot. You can shoot thumbs up with this, or you can shoot with the thumbs over. Either way, very comfortably made and very well made to your hand, really. Like, you know, it depends on which way you like to shoot. There's stipple in here, which is obviously, it's hard to see because it's blended into the laminate, and also there's stipple in there in like a, shall we say, a little bit of a shoehorn shape, really. It goes around like that, but there's stipple in there as well for plenty of grip. Now, you have got choices in stock with this. There's a synthetic one, or shall we say, there's a walnut too. The synthetic one, as such, I don't know if that's polymer. I believe it could be polymer stock, that one, but there's a few choices in stock, and obviously you buy the stock that suits your personal preference. Obviously the laminate and the walnut are about £50 dearer than the standard synthetic type one. But the gun itself, and this is what you look into with this gun, is what do you get for the money? You get, I would say, that constant knowing that if you point that gun at something and you've got something in that crosshairs, you're going to hit. Some people would always blame the nut behind the butt, as it is, which is me in this case. But the confidence that the gun excels into yourself, it makes you feel a confident shooter in yourself. There's a lot of guns that you put in your hand, and you know when you press that trigger you think, is this going to go where I'm putting it, or is it going to go off on its holidays somewhere? And this is not one of them guns. If it's in the crosshairs and you've got it there on that target, you're going to hit. It's as simple as that. It just breeds, shall we say, a lot of confidence in yourself because you know it's going to work. I've never took this gun out on permission, or I've never used it yet on quarry, but I am going to when I get chance. I've bought the gun in, more or less waited for pellets to arrive to test it with. Now as soon as I've tested it, done the pellet testing with it, and I've done the review today, that's as much as I've done with it. So I've probably shot at the moment out of this gun, I would guess less than 100 shots, you know, so I'm not really tuned into the gun as such. But now as soon as I picked it up first time, it excelled the confidence in me from the first shot. I knew now as soon as I zeroed this in, anything that I pointed it at, it was going to hit. Now you don't get that with many guns. I think you've got the Viroc HW100 which also can do that for you, but there's not many guns out there where you can think to yourself, if I pick that up, that's going to hit that target every time. But this is one of those guns. And yes, it's expensive. You're looking at over £1,000 for one of these, but it depends on what you want to do with your shooting. Are you, shall we say, a target shooter? Are you a quarry shooter and you can't mess about with your time? You can't afford mistakes. This will take away any mistakes. It irons out, shall we say, all the creases. It just, as I say, it excels a hell of a lot of confidence in yourself when you're shooting it. Now, you don't need to ask if I would recommend this gun. You've seen exactly what it can do. I do have the option of having this tuned to make it a bit more powerful, and I won't. And the reason why is sometimes you can mess with a gun and you can take away what it's got. I wouldn't take anything away from this gun, I would leave it as it is. Even at that 10.3 foot-pounds mark that it's took today over our chronograph, this would still kill. If I put it on a squirrel's head or bird's head of any kind, even a rat, at 10.3, if it hits, it's going to die. It's as easy as that. So there's no sense in me messing with the gun in any way, changing anything about it, just to try and eke out a foot-pound more of pressure. I just don't need it. It probably as well set it, that means I would probably get a couple more shots as well. So it's 6 and 2 3s really for what you're going to get out of it, so I wouldn't touch it. I'm going to leave it as it is. For £1,000, yeah, very expensive. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck, and you're getting a lot of confidence, and you're getting, as it would say on the gun, the ultimate shooting experience really. And if you ever get a chance to shoot one of these, or they've got one out in the shop at any time when you're in a shop, take a go with one and see what you'll just see what I mean about it. Excels confidence. You know now as soon as you point this gun at something, it'll hit, and that is worth its weight in gold. I notice a lot of the people I watch on YouTube. I watch a guy named I think he's Lanx Pest Controller, I think his name is, or anyway, he uses one of these, he uses the Air Arms S510, and I can really well understand why. Until I've actually shot one myself, I never understood exactly why it was such a well sought after gun. This has won awards, by the way. I think it's won Air Gun of the Year a couple of times, this has, and you can quite understand why. You know, it's just a class gun. I'll put my hands up in the air and say it's probably the best gun I've ever shot in my life. That's how much I'd rate it. I'm going to cut the review there because there's nothing more I can add to it. You can look at this all day long and sort of drill. You know, it's just a lovely looking gun. But I think the main thing of this gun is its accuracy. You're there every time with it, and that is worth its weight in gold. Thank you very much for watching this today. I've really enjoyed doing it. It's been a gun that I've sort of wanted to do for a long time, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on one, and I thank that to the guys at Solware who knew I was on the lookout for one of these and sourced me one, and I'm absolutely over the moon with it. I forgot to say as well, with the alterations, there's also a screw in the back here for the butt. You can also alter the butt, so there's a lot of alterations you can do to it. The filling system on this is a little bit different to normal. You have like an encased brass fitting that fits over a standout nozzle, and you have to twist it. Now that can be a little bit awkward sometimes, but I find it okay as long as you detach the whip before you try and take it off. If you try and take it off with a whip, it has a habit of hitting your silencer, and it can cause scratching on the silencer. So always take the whip off before you try and take it off. It saves you bumping the metal on your silencer. As I say, I'm going to end it there because there's nothing really more I can add, just to say that it is the ultimate sporter, as it says on the gun. Thank you very much for watching. See you all very soon in the next one. Bye bye.